It's the foreheads. Da ba da da do. It's the foreheads. Da da. We're in our rooms and we're talking about AI.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the greatest disaster on the internet. It's the Foreheads Podcast. I'm Goldenboy. We got Sideshow, Reinforce, and Bren with the theme song. We just discovered that we need a theme song. We need like an opening jingle for the Foreheads. If anyone else can top Bren, please let us know. Hit us up on Twitter. Use the hashtag the Foreheads.
I don't think anyone can. I think that's untoppable.
Yeah, I think we should start every episode of the Foreheads with just a... Brandon, I'm gonna just set up an Audacity file, and then you just do a loop of you just doing.
No, there's probably a producer out there who can just take that clip and then just make it like an EDM song or a sub song or something.
Someone with actual talent.
Yeah.
So obviously, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter podcast. So you may have noticed if you're watching on YouTube or listening on iTunes, Spotify. But if you're watching live, it doesn't really matter. It just means you're going to get quicker to seeing Sideshow feed on stream. And the reason being is because I have a flight to catch at 4:30. I'm flying to Phoenix to go speak on behalf of Kellogg's about esports. That's right. Cornflakes, baby.
We've already been through my opinions on Kellogg's and cornflakes.
It's going to hire me to talk about esports.
Who, Weetabix?
Yeah.
I think White Claw should hire you to talk about esports.
So you don't know this, Alex, but I'm taking a break from drinking.
Really?
I didn't even know this.
Well, no, Bren says this. He didn't drink yesterday. That's all that means. He drank the day before yesterday.
Oh, well, that's not the same thing.
I mean, it's a break.
I mean, it is. It's a break.
A 1 day break.
Well, no, because I'm not going to drink today.
Wow. I'm proud of you. Wow. I'm proud of you. Maybe
technically it is a break.
What caused this?
I looked in the mirror and I used to have visible abs, and now I've got a 1-pack. Like a full on dad bod.
What's a 1-pack? That's just a belly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I've been rocking for 30 years, baby.
Yeah. And I've been getting into bad habits, bad ways. So enough is enough.
But
I think that's good.
And then every time I drink now, the morning after, I'm just like, I find myself getting depressed.
Oh, really?
I leave home and I'm hungover. I'm like, well, that sucks. So I'm just going to not do it anymore.
But it's fun to drink. Why not value your happiness over your abs? Why do the abs come first?
Because the happiness, it's like I'm taking out a loan in the happiness center to drink. And then the next day, they come around my house knocking with 5 fucking bodyguards and bruisers with belts in their hands. And I'm like, all right, time to pay up, motherfucker. And then they just start beating me in my own room, and I can't leave.
Your hangover can't be that bad.
Oh,
it's not that the hangovers are bad. It's that I get in a depressive state when I'm hungover. So I'm just not going to get hungover.
I think it's perfectly fine. I've always subscribed to the belief that you don't have to drink to have fun. Like that's just, I believe it wholeheartedly. And it wasn't really until I got married, because Cynthia doesn't drink, and it wasn't until, we would go out and she's like, you don't have to drink in order to enjoy yourself. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. And then I just kind of not stop, because I still enjoy it here and there. But I drink
so rich.
What do you mean?
You don't spend any money on alcohol?
Yeah, I don't spend honestly, the things that I spend money on are things that I know will have a great impact on my life. I travel constantly, so I spend money on comfortable clothing when I travel. I spend money on comfortable sneakers because we're on our feet all the time. So I think that's important.
I'm sat
spend
down
money
all
on
the
my
time.
bed. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, your chair though is an important thing to spend money on.
True.
And on your bed, because you're sleeping a majority of your life.
All right, now I'm going to contrast that with my life, Alex.
Go ahead.
All of my clothes I get for free. The comfiest clothes, both of the things that I'm wearing right now are esports clothes that I just got for free. They happen to be comfy, but fuck it, I didn't know that at the time. I wear very uncomfortable shoes just because I can't be bothered getting new shoes. My chair, I won from Bren in a 1v1, and it's originally Mr. X's, and it's really uncomfortable. I don't know why I haven't upgraded.
Why have you not bought a new chair?
And also, I sleep in a closet. So it's you've just kind of lit a fire in my head about I'm not looking after myself. I'm not spending money in the right ways. Instead, I'm spending money on fat tire.
That's part of the charm, though. That's part of the scuff, you know?
It certainly is.
It's similar to like XQC or Moxie. So like you're the third coming of XQC.
I don't know.
Oh, that's not a good thing.
I don't know about the third coming.
I mean,
definitely not the third coming of XQC, because there have been many a troll before that. And
you're also way further ahead in human development than
human development.
You know what I mean?
Bren thinks of everything as AI. Everyone's developing, you know. They're going through different builds and patches. Bren, how is your apartment coming along?
So, big part of me going back to the gym and not drinking recently was that I've just took a look around me.
I just love that you say going back to the gym. I'm getting back on the gym grind, and it's in your room.
Well, it's actually,
you're not even going to the gym. It's like literally right there.
It's actually me alternating between the gym and my apartment gym. The gym in my room, like right next to my bed, and my apartment gym. But yes, getting back on a gym grind. Somebody else has already made that joke to me. I'm like, well, technically, I do have to leave the room.
Well, it's a good joke. So even though I
looked around. After I was drank too much one night and I was hungover the next day, and I was like, wow, I'm kind of living in a cesspit. So I decided to just fix everything. And now,
was this the night when you drank mystery stuff?
Yeah.
Can you explain that story?
So I went out to K-Town 2 nights ago, just to see friends and whatnot, and it was a Saturday night. I think 2 days ago was Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it was 3 now.
No, it was Saturday.
It doesn't matter how many days ago it was. It was Saturday. Everyone knows. Everyone knows that.
And for the people listening, it won't be.
But it doesn't matter. Anyway, and I went to K-Town, and then I got invited. I got invited out to a house party. I invited myself out to a house party. I kind of brute forced my way in. Apologies for that, Daniel. But and then I walked in, and on the counter of this house party, there was an unknown mystery container filled with yellow brownish liquid that had a sign on it that said "Pog Juice # Bring the Mayhem." So I drank a cup of that, and the night just dissolved away.
Yeah, kind of like your organs did.
Yeah, before my very eyes.
What did it taste like?
Pretty good. It was like I could
cider.
I could get a hint of Jaeger and orange. Yeah,
that's probably where the brown came from, because of the green.
Yeah, a hint of Jaeger, but the
Jaeger and
wasn't
orange
the most
juice,
powerful thing. God knows what it was in it, because it didn't taste of anything I'd ever tasted on this earth before. But
it was Pog Juice.
It was
XQC's newest brew.
Yeah, it was not that great. It was not that great. But no, actually it was pretty good. I'd probably have it again. But I woke up the next morning, hungover, staring around, looking around at my apartment. I had clothes on the floor. I hadn't been to the gym in ages. I looked in the mirror. I was a blob of a human. I say blob of a human, not quite a blob, but you get the idea. And I was like, I'm just going to make some changes right now. Because
wasn't the story that Costa gave you a motivational speech?
Yeah, so at the house party, Costa said to me, Bren, what happened to you? You used to be ripped. And that dug deep. It was like a knife had been stuck in me, because it was telling me the things that I had noticed happening over time but never wanted to acknowledge. So it was a wake-up call for me. Thank you, Costa.
Oh, I think that's good. That's good. That's a positive. Hey, I'm all about positive change in your life
through shame.
And through shame.
Positive changes in your life through saying, why aren't you ripped anymore, you little shit.
That's also why I typed the other day on Twitter, "do better," as a message to myself.
You just typed "do better," those 2 words.
Yeah, I just tweeted "do better," and people took it as a personal attack on them. But I guess that says more. That says more on their state of mind than it does mine, I guess.
Bro, Overwatch is an anime, bro. Overwatch League is an anime.
Yeah, I mean, they assumed that I was calling them out, and I'm like,
yeah, what's up with people just taking offense, dude? Like,
I don't know. And also, what's wrong with telling people to do better? Everyone can do better in life.
Yeah.
It's always an aspect of your life you can do better in.
Yeah. I saw someone tweet like just this morning. It was like a great picture, and it said, if you're a kid going to school, which obviously school's coming back up for kids in the United States. I don't know how it is in Europe and UK, but school's coming up. And it was like, if you see a kid who is looking isolated or isn't wearing the most, in clothing or whatever, like just go and be nice to them, because that could go like a really, really, really long way. And people took offense to that. Like, people actually were like, oh, well, if they're isolated, maybe they want to be alone. Yeah, don't force people to engage with other people. It's like, no one's forcing anyone, man. It's just like, just do better.
Yeah. But also, we're in this culture these days where people are just looking for reasons to be offended.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's so annoying.
It's like
to twist this another way, though, I quite like the idea of someone stumbling across your tweet of do better and it triggering some kind of epiphany or message for them in their lives.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure when a lot of people saw that, they were like, oh, yeah, fuck, probably should do something different. But it would mean something different to every other person.
Yeah, it's all about how you interpret it.
So
I didn't think about it at the time, but that it was mainly for me.
So I actually had a bit of an epiphany this weekend myself. Because I had a few days where I was like sort of anxious. I was like overthinking stuff. Wasn't in the best mood or whatever. And in the past, I've always like, if my day starts like shit, it's just the entire day is shit. I can't turn that around, whatever. And so I just stumbled upon this video. I'm going to link it in the document. I haven't prepared for this at all. Let's see this here. And it's a mini documentary called Whatever Rest. And it's pretty weird. It's this Norwegian DJ from a super small town who wasn't successful. And he's like, oh, I produced a bunch of music that I really like. I love EDM. I love festival music, whatever. I think it's really good. But no one seems to care. And he just kind of abandons his dreams of becoming a superstar DJ. And then, as you will notice, it escalates pretty quickly because he starts making his own drugs at home out of legal products. And he just licks this powder up and he just goes mental in the documentary.
What?
Lights on and just runs around in the street.
Holy shit.
But his motto is no bad days. Okay, so
but what? All right, no, you explain.
Sure, he's not having a bad day. He's getting fucked up every day on his own.
Are you showing
on
this
his
video,
own gear?
Josh? Show this video, Josh.
I mean, no, I've got the video open. It's 16 minutes long, so I was like wondering,
like 8-9 minutes.
What part to show?
Just 8-9 minutes. He just starts going out of control.
Oh right, yeah. He's saying stop filming, and he runs upstairs. But what do you mean by his motto is no bad days? Because I suppose you could say that as a positive thing, like every day has something valuable in it, you can always learn from it, but I have a feeling he just means get fucked up every day.
No, well, that's sort of what he explains. Like, instead of being sad, instead of being anxious that his dreams have sort of failed him, and like being upset about the past, he just has no bad days as a way to tap out of his anxiousness and just tap into his personality and tap into a positive mood. Similar to, like, I don't know if you guys have ever meditated, but it's like you enter sort of like a different state of calm where you don't have as many thoughts and like you're way more chill or whatever.
Yeah.
And what happens is, over time with more practice, you can sort of start tapping in to that sort of state where you're way more calm and you stop overthinking. And in a similar fashion, in many ways, I think you can sort of tap into happiness.
This guy doesn't look happy, Johnny.
No,
He's running around in a ghost costume outside with light bulbs around his neck, shouting at people to not nag him.
Yeah, but that's the extreme part of it. If you look earlier in the video, what he enjoys the most is just dancing. So he just puts on his headset like Bren does, and he just starts dancing like in the middle of the streets, and he just dances because that's what he loves. That's what he enjoys doing, and he's not going to let anything like come in the way of that. So in many ways, I've just tried to like tap into positive moods more, stop being anxious, learn how to tap out of a bad day. Just no bad days, tap into the positive mood, put on some bangers. The most important part I found is just having good music that sort of gets you going. Because I'm very sort of emotional in the way that a good song can just change my mood. like instantly.
Yes.
So I just have a good backup playlist of like great music that gets me going. No bad days, Sideshow. No bad days. And if you get it going by taking homemade drugs, good for you. I'm relying on EDM. I'm relying on like good music that I enjoy. No bad days.
Interesting. So
you don't have anything to say. I love this. Everyone's just dumbfounded.
No, actually, I do have something to add. So, recently, I've gone through a lot of ups and downs in the mental health department because I travel constantly. I'm like literally flying in like 3 hours.
Very understandable.
Yeah, I'm traveling constantly. I'm by myself a lot. I'm in a new hotel room all the time, working with people I never met before all the time. And after a little while, it gets draining. It gets like physically draining. You start to forget things. Things start to, words that would have made sense beforehand just become more challenging to bring out of your mouth. Like it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like sometimes I go into a dizzying state. And then I had a lot of things that were like really, really stressing me out. Like say like 2 weeks ago. So I totally understand like the logic of sometimes you kind of just gotta let it go. And that's like what ended up happening with me, where I just stopped caring. Cause I work freelance as everyone knows. And I don't know what my life is like a month ahead of time. Right. Like I have no idea. Yeah. Right. I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know who I'm working with. I don't know if I'm even going to have a job, like have work that when money coming in that month. Right. Like, while I've been very fortunate and it's been good for the last few months, like I'm looking at my 2020. I'm like, damn, everything's a little blank. So I'm freaking out, and things are really, really worrisome for me. And then couple that with the fact that I was doing the AEW show. I had added like a ton of additional pressure on me. So I understand that logic and that reasoning of like just being like, man, no bad days. Cause like, whatever, like, what are you going to do? And that's why I ended up started doing it. I just started being like, yeah, screw it. Like whatever happens. There's nothing I can really do to change this. I really can only just affect the world that is around me and improve myself. That's why I've decided, to get back to the gym, to start working out more, because that was the best I ever felt coming out of Titan Games. I never felt better in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I want to get back to that state of mind and that physical, that physical well-being that I really, really appreciated. I was taking care of myself, which is great. I'm only getting older, so it's not helping that I'm going to turn 32 this year. Jesus. So yeah,
oh,
I mean, yeah, I know. I feel
absolute boomer.
Getting on a bit.
I'm just a boomer.
Might have to be getting on a bit.
It was something I tweeted the other day, and I was like, I never felt like, I had dust in my iPhone. I had dust inside of the iPhone port here.
Lint in the port.
Lint in the port.
That's a classic boomer thing when I used to work at the Tesco phone shop. A classic boomer thing.
No, I'm telling my wife, I was like, babe, I think my phone's busted. She's like, oh, that sucks. And I had like another iPhone that T-Mobile gave me, America's best network ever, lying around. And I was like, gonna use it. And then I was like trying to swap the phones and shit. And then I was like, man, I cannot. And I had to go to AEW. And I was like, maybe I'm just, I'll just roll with it, whatever. Like, it is what it is. And then something in my mind was just like, man, this doesn't seem right. Like, just whatever. The phone's broken. Just like take a toothpick and just see what the hell's in there. Maybe something's in there. Bro, I take out like a fucking pocket's worth of lint. It was
Jesus Christ.
And I'm just like, I'm like going in, and it's like more and more coming out. And I was like, what the hell is going on? There's so much lint.
How do you even fit it up there?
What? Like a toothpick? Oh, well, the lint goes in the pocket. So like naturally, like lint.
Right, but the hole at the bottom of my phone is tiny. How did you manage to fit so much lint?
Dude, it was a lot.
Now I'm wondering if there's a bunch of lint in my phone.
And then I check your phones, kids. And then I started.
That doesn't work.
What about if I suck?
You gotta. No, I tried.
Your mic is terrible. Don't do that.
Sorry.
Don't do that.
So I started scooping it out, and then it worked. And I tweeted, and I was like, I just had all this lint in my iPhone. I never felt like such a boomer in my life. Everyone's like, oh, dude, that's pretty boomer of you.
I gotta say as well, if people at home are listening to this and they're like, oh, why is the quality significantly worse? Well, firstly, actually, it should be better for me compared to the last episode because I had my mic. I did a Windows update and Windows changed the volume of my mic to increase by 30%, which meant my mic was constantly popping.
Yeah, your mic was blowing my ears out last time.
Yeah, so apologies for that. But also, we're using Zoom, and we don't know how good it is. In terms of
it's not as good as Discord, I'll say that. But Discord's been tripping out recently. It was really laggy on us and stuff. Yeah. If anyone's watching that works at Discord, please help. Please fix.
Please help us. Help us.
Yeah.
Help us be able to create our disaster. Speaking of disaster, I usually do this at the beginning of the episode, but we always read reviews that people leave us. And of course, if you want to leave a review, we're at 118 ratings.
That's pretty good.
So by my mathematics,
that's very good.
We should try and get to like 200 because I think if we get to 200, okay,
yeah,
then I think we'll start to show up. I sent you guys the rating. I think we're I don't know where we are at rating wise. Oh yeah, we are in the United States. I'm gonna put on my screen. We are at 133 right now in the podcast for video games in the United States. So we
number one.
That gradually.
I think Joe Rogan. He always finds a way to get number
in
one.
video games.
I don't.
It's actually probably the Courage and Nate Shot podcast.
No, they're not. They're not number one.
No, number one.
No, I'll have to find it, but yeah, they're not number one. The website's called Chartable, and then I started like tracking our stuff on there, so that was pretty cool. So yes, so there you have it. If you want to support us. So that being said, I figured we'd read some of the ratings and the reviews that were left for us, and we actually had one left just a little while ago. And it's do you see it, Josh? You see the first one from Chogmar?
Yes.
This is a good one.
I think you should read that one.
You want me to read this one?
Yeah, I think you should read it.
This was a 5-star review left by Chogmar on the 30th of August 2019. He says, greatest disaster on the internet indeed. I took a course in philosophy of technology course. I'm going to start this one again. I took...
How have you messed this up?
I don't know. I you know the thing where you like scan words ahead before you read them, but then I pulled the word from like 5 ahead and put it in here because I was changing the structure of his sentence to improve it. But instead, I'm just going to read it word for word. I took a philosophy of technology course last semester, and somehow these knuckleheads...
mess up again?
No, Bren.
You did mess up.
Well, I did a little bit. I said philosophy, I think.
Do it again.
All right. Sorry, master. Sorry. I took a philosophy of technology course last semester, and somehow these knuckleheads have managed to at least partially cover at least a third of the topics. Buried somewhere in this heap of utterly papega word vomit is a half-decent philosophy podcast with the simultaneous benefit and detriment of having Bren and Hook say something absolutely wild out of the far reaches of nowhere. 5 stars. I am genuinely haunted by Josh's sister ice cream pants story. I mean, I don't know why. That's not worrying even slightly.
Any truths?
There you go.
I think I butchered that with my terrible...
God, you ruined it.
I'm not sure I can read. I think I'm getting worse at reading.
I'm going to read this one. It's
You're
from
reading too much
Tyler
Twitch
Goes
chat.
Live, and it says, born again. We are a generation born too late to explore the world and too early to explore the universe. Luckily, we were born just in time to explore the minds of 4 papega brains, which may just be as daunting as the far reaches of the Milky Way. Also, Bren, we've able to make steel.
Why are all of these calling me out?
Just not the steel that is used today.
What is it? What is this?
What they're calling me out for? What? Steel?
For the steel, yeah. And also, I think you upgraded our call. Did you upgrade the call?
No, it says A pop-up just happened and covered all of our faces and said, a gift from Zoom. Running out of time? We've removed the 40-minute time limit on your group meeting. And all it gives me is a button that says, love it. No, I don't love it. Why was there a 40-minute time limit in the first place? Why didn't you tell me about that?
I think you got to buy it.
I mean, I'd love to buy it. I'm happy to buy it if it was good.
I told you this. So thank you so much. Tyler goes live for that one. We have one more. Johnny, I think you should read it. The foreheads doth poop too much.
Oh.
That sounds right down Johnny's
I don't
alley.
even have the review page up.
How do you not have the review? Bren, you have it?
I've got it.
No, well, I was just going to say my dad really loved the podcast. I spoke to him this morning, and he said it's a great podcast, very funny, because you never know where we actually go with topics. It's like we have a plan, and then Bren derails it.
Actually, this is very true.
Yeah, I love the idea of your dad. I mean, I'm just totally inventing personalities here, but I like the idea of your dad being incredibly literal, and he heard that they wanted 5-star reviews, and he just rings you up, and he's like dictating a 5-star review to you. He's like, Johnny, take this down. 5
He
stars.
didn't actually call out Bren, though, but that's what a comedian would do. So I promise I didn't make up the review, but I did make up that he called out Brent, because he didn't call out Brent.
Well, if you start lying to us, how do we know where it stops, Jonathan?
Well, you gotta trust me. Do you trust me, Sideshow?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Oh, good, because otherwise I wouldn't carry an Overwatch tonight.
What is this? It's
Doodlebug. Poop too much. It's Doodlebug.
Yeah, it's Doodlebug. The foreheads doth poop too much. Bren's trolling disposition, Johnny's surprising ability to still be surprised by the discussions had, Josh's odd analysis of what everyone's talking about, and Alex's breakdown, the outrageous statements made. I promise you, I didn't mess that up. That's just the grammar of the post. Everything about this podcast is fantastic. I truly find everyone a part of this to be hilarious and intelligent to the point where I can be cry laughing as well as actually listening. Love heart.
Can you imagine?
The point where I started laughing was where he said, I truly find everyone a part of this podcast to be hilarious and intelligent.
Yeah.
That's where I started laughing.
Can you imagine thinking that this is an intelligent podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
I totally can. You want to know why? I say because we are all idiots, right?
Okay.
But and sometimes is it really that we're idiots, or is that we're so smart that we actually have gigabrains?
Yes, it could be that. It could be that.
We sound like full circle.
The review that was talking about philosophy, as well as you guys saying you're making changes, I've been pondering the idea. In fact, not even pondering. I've decided, but it's going to be a slow transition.
To the gym?
No, I'm not going to the gym. Don't worry about it. These little noodle arms, they ain't never getting bigger.
Disgusting. Put that shit away.
Look how swole I am.
No,
look how swole that is.
You see all over again.
Like a muscle caved into itself.
No, I've decided that I'm ethically obliged, I think, to become a vegetarian at the very least. I think it's something I've been kind of debating with myself about for years, and I've never come to a satisfactory conclusion on why it's ethical for me to eat meat, apart from the fact that I think it's fucking tasty. And for all of my life, I've been perfectly happy with the idea, it's tasty. And then I thought about it recently, and I was like, what is the point in having ethical standards or parameters if you're willing to just be completely hypocritical in certain other areas? Ooh. Like, why am I gonna call other people out or be judgy about things or even value certain things if I'm not willing to live up to the tenets? If it provides an uncomfortable conclusion that I'm not like willing to follow through with, then the principles themselves I'm not willing to uphold. So
that's a freaking big brain conversation topic.
Yeah, well, I just decided that I think also 100 years in the future, or maybe even less, one of the biggest things that we'll look back to this kind of time period and think about, I mean, along with a bunch of other horrific stuff too, but one of the prevailing things that I think will continue into the future is just eating animals. I can't imagine a society in the future looking back and being like, oh no, they had to murder all of those animals to enjoy themselves.
I mean, this is the one topic I really want to avoid, but I think it's a lack of good options. But I think we're getting there with like vegetarian, beyond meat options that are like protein.
As soon as there's like lab grown chicken, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm jumping on that shit.
I don't really ethical though. Lab grown, like what are you talking about? Just meat?
Yeah, I think meat just grown. I mean, because the problem with it is that you're unnecessarily being either cruel or just killing other little sentient beings just so that you can have a delicious snack. And there are many other delicious snacks made out of plant life and stuff that that wouldn't require an existence to be snuffed.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
The one
Cynthia had made a phenomenal grilled tofu the other day, and I had that with, I'm trying to remember, I think it was like rice and beans, and I think we just did like a straight up grilled tofu or skillet fried, like pan fried tofu.
Oh, whenever I cook at home, I just use the corn chicken stuff anyway, and then like whatever I have for breakfast and whenever I snack, I'm eating like fruit or porridge or stuff anyway. So I don't think it's going to be a tough transition. It's only when you go out and eat at places where I'm not. The other thing as well is, as I transition into it, I'm not going to mad inconvenience myself just for applying the label of vegetarianism. Like if I go to someone's house and they've served me a dinner or something, I'm going to eat it. I'm not going to complain in that sense. So
I've heard it's actually super complicated to like fill all the nutrition needs. So you still have like some people choose to eat eggs. Some people still eat fish. I think it like depends on.
Well, yeah, eating fish is pescatarian. You can still eat eggs if you're vegetarian. It's just, I mean, if you didn't want to eat eggs, that would be like towards veganism.
Yeah, like you're talking for is what it sounds like you're talking about, John.
Is there a label for just kind of eating the things that cause the most harm on the environment? Or just avoiding them, I guess.
Oh, I thought you meant eating them. I thought you meant only eating the things that are most harmful to the environment.
Yeah, well, there is a label for that. It's called being a
poison
prick.
Carrying, that's what prick. Poison carrying.
But no, what I mean is, like, obviously, beef is super harmful to the environment because it's deforestation and it's one of the largest producers of methane gas, which means it's like contributing to global warming more than anything else. But like, surely chicken is a lot less harmful.
I think it is.
It's just cruel.
Yeah,
because they keep them in battery cages.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know whether there's a label for it, but also there doesn't need to be a label for it. You don't need to, you don't need to fit your philosophy into a label for it to be valid. You just have to.
No, man, it's 2019. Everything's got to be labeled. Haven't we learned anything? Jeez.
It's true. It's true. Any truths?
Out of your asses, all right.
For me, it's just like the small things that are changing my life. So just like, I mean, I take protein powder because I go to the gym, and instead of opting into like animal-based protein powder, I've started taking like plant-based protein powder because it's just like an easy transition, and you're still getting the vitamins. The one thing I heard about that they're still working on with like producing meat options is like it's hard to reproduce the amino acids that you find in beef and stuff. So you still get like the protein and stuff that you would from regular beef, but you don't really get like the nitty gritty like amino acids and all that.
Which is why I'm willing to make a transition when it's lab grown, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to miss, like, as unfortunately, as much as people don't want to accept it, a part of, us being the Homo sapiens that we are was living off of a mixed diet of both meat, fruit, berries, nuts, shit like that,
Sure.
So you're kind of you're sacrificing a big portion of what your diet should have been.
Well, yeah, but just because your diet was that at the beginning doesn't mean that it has to be that in the future. And also just the idea of, I mean, first of all, I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder, so I don't really give a fuck if there's like, if I'm getting the precise amount of amino acids.
Could have fooled me, Josh.
But also there are a bunch of successful either vegetarian or vegan people that do that kind of stuff anyway. So, I mean, they've figured it out. It's not like people are dying by the millions attempting it. So it kind of seems more like a theoretical rather than a practical argument against it.
Well, it's complicated because if you actually read up on what those people do to be able to maintain a vegetarian diet, it's actually insane. So, but you don't need it, so it's not worth.
Well,
worrying about.
Johnny, why didn't you want to talk about this topic?
Because I think it's sort of like a topic that people are very heated about. They're very quick to like give their own opinions and like argue about ethical stuff. But I'm just like, to each their own, you know.
But that's the best kind of content.
Sure. But
that's what gets us the clicks and the likes, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think I have a lot of vegetarian subscribers and I don't want to piss them off, so I'm just staying neutral.
Yeah,
that's where I'm coming from, Bren.
That's a terrible way to live. You shouldn't let other people dictate what you can and can't talk about.
No, why would I speak up about something that I don't genuinely care about?
What I love about that, Bren, is you went, oh, that's a terrible way to live. Don't let other people tell you how to live whilst telling him how to live.
Johnny how to live. Yeah, no, you're right.
Oh, man.
Never listen to other people. They're always dumb.
What? It's just made up to be harder than it is. It's just like, live your own life. Like, I don't give a shit if you're vegetarian. I'm not going to convince you to be vegetarian. Do your own thing. It's ethical. Sure, yeah. I want to eat meat because it's delicious. And I only stay on this planet for so long. So I'm going to eat my meat, go to Korean barbecue, how much I want. And it's going to be sick. If you want to eat eggs and lettuce, go for it, dude.
What about... couldn't you just apply that exact same argument, though, to, like, I really enjoy... I really enjoy burning children. I'm only on this planet for a small amount of time, so I'm going to set fire to orphans and fuck everybody else.
No, because you're clearly being a fucking idiot. It's just a big difference in, like, vegetarian. Okay, now we're getting so ethical.
Well, it depends how much value you put.
I'm going to say that it doesn't matter if you kill animals, and you're going to be like, well, they're ethical.
It depends on how much value you put on human life.
Yeah, it depends on how much value you put on human life.
What do you mean?
This podcast,
whether you can burn children or not.
Well, but okay. I mean, I was just coming from the place of assumption that we would all value human life more than the pleasure of watching things burn.
Yeah, no, obviously that is the case, but it's like comparable, right? Your idea is you've come out with this. Is it called a straw man argument?
Yes,
yeah, but just a kind of big dick over Johnny.
Yeah, but it's just supposed to be.
Obviously, everyone's going to disagree with that.
Yes, that's. I hope so.
It's just how funny how Josh and Johnny are like yelling at each other, and then out of nowhere, Bren just says, "It just depends on how much value you put into human life." And like while the argument's going on, and I'm listening to all of this, and I'm like, "What the fuck did I just?" And that part was great.
Oh man, I had
to tell Bren how to live his life.
I had a brutal dream a couple of nights ago. I dreamt that I had murdered my wife and was getting away with it, and I had dumped her body in the ocean. I don't have a wife, but this was so strange. And it's like that thing, you know, where Bren's just like whispering. I guess there's just some dark part of my mind that's like, you could get away with it, you know? No.
The demon is Bren that pops up over here. And he's like, you get away with that. I hope you know that. And then Johnny pops up right here. He's like, what are you doing? Don't do this. No.
And then Bren's like, it all depends how much you value human life.
Oh my God. Speaking of not valuing human life, I had the pleasure of commentating AEW this weekend.
Oh yeah, dope.
I saw a grown man throw himself on a cracker barrel, like on a wooden barrel, on top of another grown man, or in an attempt to. And I thought Darby Allin was going to kill himself. And then I saw the Young Bucks. I think they used a total of 16 tables in their match.
16?
16 tables.
They went through 16 tables.
They went, one of them, or all four of the wrestlers went through six. It was insane.
Are they sponsored by IKEA?
No, but we should get an IKEA. So the funny thing is that...
Well, no, you wouldn't want that as an IKEA sponsor because you'd be showcasing how weak your tables are.
Or true. How heavy the lifters are.
It's all about perspective.
We did have one sponsored match. It was called the Cracker Barrel Clash. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cracker Barrel, but it's basically like a restaurant chain in the United States. And the whole time they come to us and they had some freaking, I'm going to see if I can find the email because they had some quality verbiage that we had to like fit into a wrestling freaking match. And it was awesome.
Alex, you seem to be getting quieter and quieter. I don't know why this is happening.
I was looking away.
Yeah, your mic might still need a little boost. Sorry for the audio listeners. We're still figuring out The
oh man,
Zoom
my mic was
platform.
fine just a second ago.
I know. Just give it a little bump up.
I don't know if I can.
Oh well, don't bother then.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Just project.
As you're trying to fix your mic, we had a similar thing happen at the Overwatch League this weekend. So I was actually producing halftimes for one day this past weekend, which is something I normally don't do, but I stepped in on Friday. And we just had so many sponsors to get through this halftime.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there just panicking about everything we have to do. So we just talked about like Cheez-Its. We had insights powered by Intel. And then it was more Cheez-Its. And then we had an Omen ad coming up after the halftime. And I'm just freaking out because there were so many sponsors. And
for the playoffs presented by Xfinity.
Yeah, playoffs presented by Xfinity, in the halftime presented by Cheez-It Grooves, and then the Cheez-It Grooves Crunch Time, and then some insights powered by Intel, and then we have a game set sponsored by Omen. So I had a jolly old time this week. Problems?
Hey, am I sounding better, by the way?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, for some reason it was set to automatically adjust my volume. Dumbass thing.
That'll do it.
All right, so here's some of the talking points for the Cracker Barrel Clash that was sent my way. It was Cracker Barrel is sponsoring the Cracker Barrel Clash. In honor of Cracker Barrel's 50th anniversary, we have provided a commemorative 50th anniversary barrel. And that is the thing that Darby Allin threw himself in. Tying the barrel and match to making memories would be greatly appreciated, which at the end of the match, Excalibur says to me, well, Goldenboy, I can tell you this much. Memories were definitely made. And then I said, that's right. Courtesy of Cracker Barrel. We knew that bitch. And then it said, then this is another thing. As of August 26th, Cracker Barrel Sunday homestyle chicken is now served every day. Fan Cracker Barrel favorite.
Every day.
2 hand-battered boneless chicken breasts served with 2 sides, your choice of biscuits or cornbread.
Have I walked into a commercial? Have you been paid by Cracker Barrel?
I had to fit like half of this stuff into the match, right? And one of the segments was the funniest thing. So there was a batch of fluffy and delicious Cracker Barrel biscuits, which, by the way, they were freaking amazing because Cracker Barrel catered the lunch and the breakfast and the lunch for us, which was awesome. So there was these biscuits there, and Jimmy Havoc picked up the biscuits and threw them at Joey Janela in the middle of right in the outside of the ring. And I on commentary was like, well, I don't know why he's picking up these fluffy, delicious biscuits. It's not going to cause much damage to his opponent. And then he just took the biscuits and fucking chucked the whole thing at the guy. And it was like this metal casing that was housing the biscuits. So the metal, he just freaking clocked them. It was great. I don't know. We found a way to fit Cracker Barrel into a match.
Can you do me a favor, Goldenboy?
That was my weekend. What's up?
Can you say Cracker Barrel 5 times fast?
I cannot. Cracker Barrel, Cracker Barrel, Cracker Barrel, Cracker Barrel, Cracker Barrel. It was great.
No, it's just the accent. Like you adopted a new accent when you were talking about Cracker Barrel. So it was just great.
I have one more funny story to talk about AEW. So, a lot of people may not have caught wind of this, but I just thought it was freaking hilarious, and our audience would really appreciate it. So at Fyter Fest, when I was commentating with Jim Ross and Excalibur, we were out by ringside. So there was we were basically on an island. We couldn't leave. We were there for 5 hours, right? Okay. It was a long time. And I didn't drink a lot of water. I kind of took sips, had a little thing of tea, sips. And then by the time I was done, I was like, I have to explode. And then that was that. This time around, though, we were by the stage left, or the right side of the entrance ramp of the ring. And I thought in my head, because our producer was like, oh, yeah, I think you'll have 2 minutes and 30 seconds or something like that to go and pee real fast and then come back if you need to. And I was like, all right, sweet. So I'll have a little bit more water this time. Turns out that was not the case. We never had time to do that. Midway through the Best Friends Dark Order match, which was a tag team match, I went to the horn and contacted the director, and I was like, Keith, I'm going to explode. And I don't think that this is something that has ever happened in pro wrestling before, but I straight up got up and fucking went to go pee in the middle of the match. I had to pee so bad. And the only bathroom was in our dressing room, which was like at the other side of the arena. So I had to chuck it over to the bathroom. It was the longest piss I'd ever taken in my life. It was like that Austin Powers thing where like he peed and then he kept going, and then he kept going, and then he kept going, and then stopped, and he kept going some more, and he kept going some more, and then finally I kept going some more, and then I was done, and then I ran back, finished the match, and partway through, people were messaging me. They were like, "Why are you barely talking through the match?" And I was like, "Am I allowed to talk about this?" I think people would find this hilarious. So yeah, I had to get up. I looked at Jim Ross. I looked right at him, and after the match was done, and I was like, "I'm so sorry." And then he looks at me. He was like, "Don't sweat it, kid." And I was like, "Fucking Jim Ross, man." He was chucking waters like a psychopath. I'm 31 years old. I can't hold my urine. Meanwhile, JR's out here. He's got the bladder of a fucking god. He's a titan.
What did your producer say?
They were all fine with it. Everyone thought it was hilarious.
I had to go and do that. I had to go and do that a bunch of times at I-55 when I was casting with Gex, who currently works for NGE. I don't know whether anyone will know this, but know him from our listeners. But we were casting the TF2 final. Yeah, we were casting the TF2 finals, and because we had never run a proper production before, we didn't figure out like adding breaks, and because we didn't have any commercials, there just were no breaks. So we were doing the desk. We would have 2 pro players would come on, and we would be the desk hosts. And then when it went into the game, that was us. And then when the game was on a break, we would be filling the time. So we just didn't have any time to step away. And it was a best of 7, and it went the distance. And by the time it got to map 4, we were 3 hours in, and I had been pounding waters because I was hungover as balls. Just outrageously hungover. The worst day I've ever had in my life. There's many, many pictures of me just looking like an absolute degenerate. Because, yeah, that was not a fun day to wake up and realize that I still had to do the finals because I'd gotten blasted the night beforehand. And then... So we're pounding down the waters, and at some point in map 4, I just look at him, and I'm like, I've got to leave him. I'm just going to leave him, and he's going to solo cast. And so I just took the headphones off in the middle of this and just ran to the bathroom. And then when I got back, we chatted for a while, like we were casting the game, and then he ran off, and I was like, oh my god, he's been waiting to do that for ages, hasn't he? So from then, we did that another like 3 times, where one of us would just take over for a minute and a half.
Yeah, well, we've done that at the Overwatch League a few times. Like, sometimes if we go to, like, map 5, one of the casters has the OP. And so what happens is we just take camera shots of all the players.
That's so good.
You just hear, like, Wolf go on, like, a monologue about how Seoul Dynasty back in Korea, they were one of the better teams. And then you just
that's phenomenal.
Like, you just feel, and it's just player cams, and, like, no one knows.
Well,
but, like,
we had who was on the desk when Puckett was feeling ill last year?
Oh, it was me and you.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Can we tell that story?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
I was banned. I don't know.
Yeah, Puckett was feeling really ill, and it's the only time where. So I think he started feeling sick at the beginning of the day, but tried to power through. Yeah. And then he got to the end of the day, and it was last year, so it was when we would do the half times, but also the in-between of games. So I think this was a post-match at the end of the day. I think this was like the last thing that we had to do. There was no watch point last year. We just had to power through this thing. And Puckett's warned us that he's feeling ill, but we're like, no, surely he's not gonna, he's not gonna feel that bad. It's just me, Johnny, and Puckett on the desk. And at some point, while me and Johnny are talking, Puckett just gets up, gets rid of his headphones, and runs. And we're like,
I saw the face of him. I saw the face just like, he just started running. And I was like, but we had talked about this. So we had actually talked about this going into it. Like, if Puckett needs to run, then Sideshow is the new host, and we're just going to do like a 2-shot, and he's going to guide through the broadcast, and the producer will talk to Sideshow. But you completely beefed it.
Yeah, I did.
I've hosted multiple TF2 events. Like, I know what I'm doing. Then Puckett ran, and Sideshow just like choked, dude. And I was like, "What are you doing?"
Because in my head, it's weird if I then become the host because it acknowledges that Puckett's gone, and the whole point of using the tight 2-shot was to not feel like Puckett had gone. So I was just chatting with Johnny as if we were just analysing the same point. But I was just trying to keep it going forever, which obviously a stupid thing to do. But Puckett comes back and he's just white as a sheet, having thrown up somewhere, takes back his position and is like, so, yeah. And then asked us the exact same question that we'd just been discussing. So we just finished like this long monologue about the Seoul Dynasty. It's getting super awkward because we're talking about it for way too long. Puckett sits back down and he's like, so guys, how do you feel about Seoul Dynasty? Like,
it was actually about player of the match.
Oh, was it?
I think Seoul Dynasty was playing, but it was actually player of the match. So we were talking about like, oh, here's our player of the match presented by Omen by HP. Like we talked about it for like 35, 40 seconds. And then Puckett comes back and it's like, who was player of the match? And we were like, about it. But he's a true professional.
He really is.
So sick.
Apparently,
one of the greatest ever do it.
Zoe was telling us about one time where she's thrown up whilst being live. Like she was casting, threw up underneath the desk, and then just carried on casting.
That sounds like the most Zoe thing to do.
Yeah. That's so fucking awesome.
But
all right, well, I got to wrap, unfortunately, because I got to go to the airport and I have a meeting and I have a bunch of other things.
That was a fun, small episode.
It was. And we owe it to our viewers to do a good one. A good long one.
Good
wink,
long
wink. What am I going to say? Obviously, rate us on Apple Podcasts. You can also follow us, like us on Spotify. Yeah. Subscribe to us on YouTube. I actually don't know where we are right now on our YouTube subscriber count. I'm assuming
I think we're just under 5K.
Yeah, I think we're just under 5K. So see if we can get to 5K. That's the mission, everyone. Share the oh dear God, everything just started breaking around me. Share the YouTube channel with everybody and let us know what's going on. Bren, you haven't talked all that much, so I want you to say a word.
I love.
That's a word. All right, then. All right. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are awesome. I'm off to Phoenix. We'll be back next week. We got a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline, I think.
I already talked about this a little bit on stream. So do you want to run people through the vague plan?
Basically, we're thinking about doing a Four Heads live in Philadelphia just before the finals for the Overwatch League. So if anyone's interested in that, let us know on YouTube. Let us know on Sideshow's channel. If you're watching this on Sideshow's channel, you can also let us know using the hashtag Foreheads. We want to hear from you. Do you think that is something awesome? Would you come? Let us know. This is like brand new. Mr. X kind of dogpiled on this because let's be honest, more people will care about Foreheads. But he has this idea that people care about Plat Chat. God bless him. That's something that we're
it would be like a Plat Chat Foreheads combined. It would be the Plat Heads.
The Plat Heads. That will be the name of the show. So let us know if it's something that you want. It'll be the five of us. We'll be idiots. We'll talk about the finals. We'll obviously be idiots. We'll talk about the finals. That whole spiel. So we want to hear from you. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, and caring. As always, we'll see you guys next time. This is Foreheads.
iTunes reviews.
That's right. Peace. Later.
Bye.
Aye.